Good morning, everybody. Let's see if our video is working or if we're audio only. Oh, fantastic. Okay. Meeting is now live streaming. That's what we want to see. Happy Monday. You guys get that oh my gosh, it is our very last video of the year. Isn't that crazy? Can't believe it. I'm super excited to get to be here today and talk to you as we wrap up our school year. When we start these videos, in the fall, May seems so far off, but 9 months have gone by, and we've been fortunate enough to have your kids with us in the studio for the past 9 months, or maybe just for the spring semester. Maybe you jumped in April, but we're so lucky in what we get to do every single day when we come to work. We just want to thank you seriously for sharing your artists with us because we're the lucky ones. So let's go out with a bang. Let's talk about everything the kids are learning in classes this week. And you know what? I was so on the ball, you guys, and I had notes printed, and I don't know where I put them. Because I came in yesterday and got it all ready for me, but that's okay. I'll bring them up on the screen. That's fine. Everything's fine. Let's do this. First things first, here we go. If you're in a preschool class, Monday and Tuesday's classes, you guys are wrapping up today, or today and tomorrow. Okay, it's your third class of the month. It's our medals and our sculpture month. You are reading This Is Not My Hat, which is a John Clausen book, and you're going to be making little tiny fish sculptures out of polymer clay, which is different than when we did the Dali sculptures. We did about a plasticine. This is a polymer clay that you bake in the oven. So once we move on to story time, get those baked, and they'll be able to take home like finished clay miniatures. And then we're making paper hats. So we use wrapping paper and make silly, funny hats to kind of end out our school year. So it's a great book. It's a good one to end on. A lot of great projects. If you're in a Thursday or a Friday class, you guys do not have class this week because you did that book and that story and wrapped up your year last week. You guys were just a little bit ahead. So hopefully that makes sense. You can always go on Sawyer and look at your class schedule. That's still going to be there, or you can send me a message if you're confused. But all preschool classes, Mondays and Tuesdays, you guys will wrap up this week. Thursday and Friday, you guys wrapped up last week. All right. Multimedia classes. So I just have one slide for the multimedias. I did bring a couple examples. It is the last class of the year for all of our multimedia classes. Doesn't matter what day you come, you are finishing your year this week. Today, tomorrow, Thursday or Friday, you are finishing your classes. I've got all these great medals projects. I think some of them went home last week. I saw some finished pictures. So some of your kids might have taken projects home, depending on how far they were, you guys. But look at these. This one's from one of the K first, second, third, K thirds, I don't know which one, classes. And they are inspired by the art of Alexander Calder. So there's these metal sculptures, kind of a mobile sense. And they're all embossed and cut out. And then the wire work, you guys, that is really tricky to get them. See if I can get it. There it is. I'll put it in front of me. All that wire work done with pliers, a lot of problem solving because gravity. So great details in our texture and in our color, as well as in design. We had some kids that did like these. I grabbed another one. I'm going to carefully pick it up. That have a clay base, and so they're freestanding sculptures. We also had artists who made mobiles. They made art that hangs. So I didn't grab those out of the closet. They weren't quite as accessible, but you can see this artist has like a cat theme going on. So we've got the cat themed base. I'm gonna flip it around. And we've got little charms that are also kitty cats that are metal. And I can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it if my mic is picking it up, but I love the soft little like wind chime noise that they make. Other news in metals, I didn't grab any Beatles projects. That's the fourth and fifth and the homeschool classes. I know they were probably the furthest along. That was the project that people kind of went through really fast, but I did grab a mandala project on the back, and I could show you that. Look, most of the artists are done with the embossing. Remember when I showed last time we talked about that, like they each kind of had a pie piece that they were tracing and going all the way around. And then once it was traced, they had to actually do the embossing and decide which parts were going to pop out, which parts were going to recede back, and then adding all of the texture and the pattern. This week is when they will add all of the color. So they'll finish these up this week. We'll finish them with we have like a cardboard backer that goes on them just to kind of support it and also finish the edges a little bit. So those are done. All right, so our plan this week for our multimedia classes is to finish these metals projects. And at the end in the housekeeping, I'm going to talk through the days that we still have some makeups. So if that pertains to you, pay attention to know what I have on my hands. Pay attention to that part when we get to the housekeeping section. But our goal is to finish the metals projects and take them home, and also to clear out anything that's left over in the class cubby. So they're going to take home their sketchbook that they've had all year. They're going to take home any unfinished work that they have in the class cubby. That doesn't mean that you can't come back and finish it in makeups. It just means that we're going to empty it out of our areas. Okay. And then if time allows, a lot of the instructors will plan like stations or fun stuff for the last day as well. All right, creative explorations. I just made you guys a slide to make sure that I didn't forget. Here's doing crazy things. Forget to tell you that you don't have classes this week. So your month started on like the first week, right? Like I think the month started on a Wednesday, which is the day that Creative Explorations meets for the first time. And so you've already had your 3 classes, so you don't meet this week. They wrapped up last week. You need makeups for that. Again, pay attention in housekeeping and we'll go through that. So no classes this week for Creative Exploration. For my drawing classes, this is when I'm going to have to grab my notes. I did bring examples, but only for drawing 103 projects. I didn't grab in journals for 101. Let me grab my notes here so I don't mess up what everybody's doing in class. So our drawing 101 classes last week, they drew feathers. We used a little magnifying glass and we observed feathers. Now our feathers are our studio feathers, so they're not just the most normal basic feathers. They're like wild colors and they have some really great patterns on them. Like there's a purple one with like black polka dots on it. So not necessarily the most realistic things, but what we're trying to do is scale and form and texture and color and achieve all of those things. They did that in oil pastels, and then we went over the top with some watercolors to finish them, and they collaged that in their journal. This week, we're going to be working in landscape. So we're trying to understand that every composition has a foreground, a midground, and a background. And so we're going to do that by making a pop-up landscape. So they'll actually create those 3 pieces separately, and then we'll fold the little footer at the bottom, like a little tab, and we'll collage it in the journal so that it pops and sits up, and then we'll lay flat and then close the journal. So should be a fun one for them. They're just going to use like markers and colored pencils, like very simple drawing supplies to get that done. But the concept is what we're looking for. This is their last class of the year as well. Now my drawing 102s, let me switch my screen. I got to get off my notes, which are on my screen, and switch this. Drawing 102 advanced realistic. Remember, we've been going outside as much as possible, drawing in plein air. We've done trees, we've done buildings, we've done roads. Last week we looked at rocks and we observed all the textures in the rocks, as well as their colors and their shape and their form. So getting the rock to look 3-dimensional. Hopefully you saw some of those pictures on Instagram stories. I believe there's a Facebook post that's going to post them too. So if you're a Facebook person and you're not an Instagram person, I believe all the rock pictures are scheduled to go out this week, like in a post, but I don't remember when. So look for that because there's some really good ones trying to get those rocks to look 3-dimensional, as well as having the right texture and color. This week, it is our 4th week, which is always our wild card week. It's our last, of course, wild card week of the year. So instructors will be setting up a bunch of stations for the kids to explore. They can finish any drawings that they haven't yet finished in their book. They can start something new. They can get help on something that they're working on, or they can just enjoy each other's company. They will take their journals home this week, when they finish class. All right, and then my drawing 102 comic and cartoon, they're finishing their books. So we've got all those comic books that they've been working on all year, and their goal is to finish those. I think we probably have about 60%, and I just look in Liberties. All right, that's where I'm at. But it looks like we're about 60% of the kids in my brain are like, oh yeah, they'll finish this week. And then the rest, I'm like, ooh, I don't know. If they want more time with that, again, there's all those makeup sessions. They're welcome to come in and have more work time to finish up those books. Switch. All right, drawing 103. So our advanced realistic kiddos have been doing kind of urban sketching, a lot of architecture and cityscapes. And then our comic kids have been doing anthropomorphic characters. So that's what I brought. So these are inanimate objects that have a personality and can move. Not just stick, as what Miss Grace says, not just sticking googly eyes on something. You can't just put eyes on it. Oh, this one has green on it. This part right here is green. That's why it's showing up with my slideshow in it. But I love all of the movement and emotion that happens in these. This one has such beautiful line work. Again, a lot of green here on the main character, but gotta kind of look in the background to see some of the anthropomorphized characters. There was some really good stuff in the cubby. I couldn't decide, so I just kept grabbing things. They have a lot of them are very far along. They've got all their inking done. This one is inked, right? So the next step is either to add in more inking details like stippling or scrumbling or cross hatching, or to switch to color and then add the color to it. Beautiful, very clean lines in that one. Obviously a ruler. I like it. Here's another one. So good stuff going on in our 103 comic and cartoon classes. So they'll finish those this week, whether you're in the realistic or in the comic and cartoon. They'll get those finished this week, get them matted, and take them home, as well as anything else that's in the cubby and their sketchbooks. All right, so a couple things. Housekeeping, fall emails. So just a reminder, this is the last class of the year. We do not have classes in June, July, or August. And so we're on break from regular classes. We're not on break. The studio is open. We're here for summer programming, but summer programming is totally different than during the school year. We'd love for you to join us. So if you're looking for a way to be involved, let me know. Or you go to the website and take a look. But when we talk about the regular classes in this program, the fall emails will start going out early July. There might be one that goes out late June, just to give you like a heads up that it's coming, and to look for it. But early July will be the first like official email that goes out, and it will have in there the schedule for the year and the tuition rates, which is big, right? You got to know that when you're planning out your fall. We're not going to ask you to make any decisions at that point. You're not like, oh crap, I got to sign up for that class. Like, we try to release the schedule in plenty of time so that you can be like, okay, this class might work. Or to ask your questions about like, well, I was thinking 102, but is that really the best class for them? So we'll release that schedule, and then that way you can ask those questions. Then you'll have all of July to ask those questions and to figure out your game plan for when registration opens on August 1st. Okay. For the most part, all of our classes are staying the same. I can tell you that. Like, I mean, there might be some tweaks here and there. One of the things that's going to change, we're going to switch up the comic and cartoon class. That one hasn't had a refresh in a while, the 102 comic and cartoon. So it's going to get a refresh. It's going to get a new title. So it's going to be illustrative drawing instead of comic and cartoon, just so we're not quite so pigeonholed into that style. So it'll be more towards illustration, comic and cartooning is illustration. It's just going to be a broader range. So we'll be illustrative drawing and realistic drawing will be the two tracks. And then we're going to refresh that curriculum again to kind of widen it into more illustrative ways. Other things like the 103 classes aren't going to change. The creative explorations, I go back and forth. Liberty's creative explorations class might move to not a Friday. In order to do that, I have to get my Wednesday makeups, and I'm just not wild on that. It's been 10 years and we've had wake ups on Wednesday nights. I don't really want to change it. So I don't know. We have some discussions to happen here on staff as we figure that out on what works best. So we'll see. But for the most part, things will stay the same. There's not going to be anything drastically changed. We are going to try to get, we do know that some of those classes ended really late. We might do some creative scheduling to try to get some of these kids out of here a little earlier, so we're not here till 9:30 at night. I know that's really hard, especially if you're, you don't live right next to the studio like I do. So, and that helps my staff too. That's a late night for them. So we're just trying to figure out how do we fit everything in. So there might be some like tweaks and adjustments here. We might take that drawing class and have it start at 5 instead of 5:30. There's things. So look for that email in July. Like I said, that's when that announcement happens. And at that point, all the decisions are made and they are made for the rest of the year. The other thing that's announced at that time is tuition rates. And so I don't know if you know this, but inflation has been insane and the cost of everything has gone up. And that includes for us too. So, tuition, it hasn't been raised in a while. It will be going up this year. There still will be a studio club discount. Very, very likely we will do payment plans as well. Kind of like what we did in November, right? Where we had current students who could enroll for studio club for the semester, but on a payment plan. So there's a very good chance that we might offer that in addition to monthly billing. So, anyways, so that's kind of, I got to figure out how to make that not too messy and confusing, but the more payment options you have, the more confusing it is. And then people get frustrated, and I don't want people to be frustrated. So anyways, lots of decisions to make. Details will come in early July. Registration opens August 1st. Okay. And let's see, the next thing I got to tell you is that we still have makeups. And so this is where if you need more time on your comic book, you need to finish April's fiber art project, whatever. Here's the makeup information. So May 22nd is this coming Wednesday here in Liberty. We still have makeups. The Friday, which is like this coming Friday, Flatwood still has makeup. And then we're off, you guys. So you'll see there's a big gap between May 24th and June 8th. We're off that week. That is our staff vacation week. Everybody's off. I mean, I'm still going to check messages, but for the most part, we're like, peace out. People are going on vacation. They're gone. So it's a paid vacation for them, and they're just gone. So they'll be back Liberty on June 8th and Flatwoods on June 10th. Okay. Sound good? And then there's no makeups the week of Memorial Day again. So that's like next week. Okay. If you miss these dates, like we get to like late June and you're like, crap, I still need to finish my metals project. You can reach out to me. We'll figure out something. Okay. It's not really that serious. We're here all summer. We'll find time for you to come in while somebody can be here and help you with it. Okay. You are going to take your project home though. We're not going to hold on to it here in the studio. We need the cubby space for summer, but you can bring it back and we'll work on it together. Okay. And then the last little note is please check Lost and Found this week because part of our prep week tasks, which is the week that we come back from vacation and before summer camp start, is to we totally clean house. It's a big spring cleaning event for the staff. We clean out closets, we clean out cubbies, we get ready for the summer. So so those things will go to Lost and Found, anything that's left. So you got water bottles, you got jackets, I have a pair of eyeglasses that are sitting here in Liberty. Missing your glasses, we've got them, but make sure that you check those Lost and Found. Okay. And that's it, you guys. We have made it the entire school year, which is amazing. So you're amazing. Thank you for everything. I will see you guys in